Hey everybody, Antoni here, and I just came home from watching the Deutsches Symphonie Orchester Berlin, who are playing live at the Berliner Philharmoniker. And as always for this review, I have my program here with me, so that just in case I forget any pieces, well, since this is a concert, I have this as my guide. The conductor for this evening was Philippe Jordan. I only heard his name in passing, but he's worked with a lot of great singers of the 21st century. But based on the biographies in this program here, it stated that from 1998 up till 2001, he worked with Daniel Barenboim as his assistant. And then from 2006 until 2010, he had his first few gigs at the Staatsoper unter den Linden. So he's actually become a name for himself after becoming an assistant conductor to the great Mr. Daniel Barenboim. Now, the pieces played here were mostly compositions by Richard Strauss and Richard Wagner. There was only like one or two, in this case, Wagner compositions, and the rest of the evening were compositions by Strauss. So, the concert opened with the overture and the Bacchanal from the opera Tannhäuser. I bet you all know this passage, which goes da 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 da. Yeah, I guess for all of you who watched What's Opera Bugs, or excuse me, What's Opera Doc from Looney Tunes, I'm sure that you'll easily recognize this tune. Yeah, that's basically where this very tune, this very short, this very short was based from. Yeah, so basically my thoughts on this interpretation of the overture and the Bacchanal was very, very well handled. I mean, I was practically glued to my seat, and I was really in awe by how Maestro Jordan handled the orchestra. I mean, the beginning was basically having a little sense of dignity and nobility and beauty, and then it becomes a little bit more allegro and crescendos all over everywhere. It was just magnificent. It really shows just how grand of an opera Tannhäuser is, and it's all thanks to Mr. Jordan's sensitive and careful handling of the material, and it basically really moved me. You had all of these thrilling, exhilarating moments, and then you have these dignified and solemn moments within both the overture and the bacchanal. It is really that beautiful, and my goodness, it was one of the best interpretations of the overture I've ever heard. It wasn't so slow, it wasn't so fast, it was really well paced. It was really that gorgeous, and I almost felt like I was being moved to tears because, yeah, even though I have the DVD of the whole opera Tannhäuser, which is currently back in Cebu, the overture basically welcomes me into the opera, into this tale of passion, romance, fidelity. It really is a great opener, and it was really a great roller coaster ride of an opening, so to say, for the evening. And after that lovely piece from Wagner, or shall I say pieces from Wagner, came Till Eulenspiegel's Lustige Streiche, composed by Richard Strauss. Yeah, this is basically based off of the German prankster from folk tales, so to say. This is based from a folk tale about a famous German prankster by the name of Till Eulenspiegel, and how Mr. Jordan handled the orchestra makes me really see what Mr. Eulenspiegel is up to. I mean, you have these bombastic, um, exhilarating moments, yet at times you have like the solo from the clarinet as if to really convey the cheekiness of Till Eulenspiegel. It's really that great, and it really conveys both how much power Eulenspiegel as a person has and how cheeky he can be as a prankster. So basically, the way I see it, Mr. Jordan combines the the cheekiness of Till Eulenspiegel with just how epic the music is, as in the music that Richard Strauss composed. It was really that exhilarating, and there were moments where there was so full of life, so full of vivacity, and then comes the exhilarating parts. It's such a roller coaster ride. It's another roller coaster ride of a piece, and this is definitely something that was really worthwhile listening because, frankly, I've only heard of this piece in passing, but now that I have the privilege of listening to it, I have to say I was totally blown away. And then we have the Don Juan uh, Symphony, again from Richard Strauss. It was absolutely gorgeous, and the way it ended almost seemed really, really mystical and somber at times. But the opening to the symphony was quite powerful, passionate, and quite energetic, just like the Dawn himself. And then it goes into a lot more energy, um, a lot more bite, and then there are some tender moments as well, and there are also some crescendo moments until the end where it's soft and lovely. I thought it was just gorgeous of how it ended and how he was basically handling the orchestra. Finally, we have the Dance of the Seven Veils and the final scene from Richard Strauss's Salome. Well, it was the same opera that I saw at the Staatsoper im Schiller Theater. When the Dance of the Seven Veils began, I was so hooked. I mean, it's obvious. I'm a big fan of this opera because, like I said, the Dance of the Seven Veils really has to be my most favorite moment of this opera. Every time I hear those opening chords, I'm always thinking in my head, there is there is Salome, all veiled and looking very seductive, very gorgeous, yet quite regal. And she's dancing sinuously. And the music basically conveys how sinuous and how tempting Salome can be as a person, or excuse me, shall I say, as a young woman. It really conveys that type of feeling that you are totally captured by her beauty, captured by how demanding she can be, and you just can't help but really fall for her. And I have to say that Mr. Jordan's handling of the orchestra, especially with the dance of the Seven Veils, was masterfully done. I could hear every instrument from the orchestra, as in everyone was clear, crisp, and it was that epic. That's really all I can say about Monsieur Jordan's handling of the Dance of the Seven Veils. And finally, we have the final scene from Salome, in which Salome is having a little bit of a Liebestod moment with the head of John the Baptist. Now, Evelyn Herlitzius was supposed to sing tonight. Unfortunately, she ended up ill. So, another soprano took over, and it was none other than the great Catherine Naglestad. For those of you not in the know, Madame Naglestad, back then in her earlier stages of her career, used to sing in a lot of dramatic coloratura roles, mostly in the German repertoire, or even the Mozart repertoire, like Alcina from Handel, and even Constanze from The Abduction of the Seraglio by Mozart. Nowadays, she's been singing a lot of full lyric roles, spinto soprano roles, and she's also ventured into the dramatic soprano repertoire. She's famous for her Tosca, Norma, Sieglinde, Elsa, many other roles from the spinto and dramatic soprano repertoire. I was really blown away by her voice. It was even, it was smooth, it was homogeneous, and it was just a luscious sounding voice. She really convinced me that she can sound like a teenager who has the voice of an Isolde, and her stage presence also was really captivating. As in, just wow. Within the first few chords of the cello, before Salome's first words, "Es ist kein Laut zu vernehmen," I was already drawn in. And my goodness, she was great. She was amazing. She sang all the notes very well, and she also acted really well too. Even though she didn't move around a lot on stage, since this is a concert, like I said, she was absolutely, really in the moment. And her voice really helped. Overall, this was definitely a concert that was worth my time and, of course, my money, since I was in the sixth row of Block C. It was a really decent view that I had, and the orchestra was amazing. Maestro Jordan was fantastic in how he handled the music from Wagner and Strauss. And finally, Madame Catherine Naglestad was a great stand-in for Evelyn Herlitzius, which was good, but it was a real shame that I didn't really hear Madame Herlitzius live, because I've only heard her in a few clips on YouTube, and yeah, to be honest, Madame Herlitzius kind of follows in the steps of Gwyneth Jones in terms of her voice. She almost sounds like a younger Gwyneth Jones. Yeah, even though she has a bit of a wobbly voice, it's her stage presence that really makes the roles really great, or the roles that she portrays really that great. I have to say that Madame Naglestad was definitely a great last-minute replacement. I mean, seriously, she was definitely great. And it was really quite shocking that she was a last-minute replacement for Miss Herlitzius. But still, she was great, and definitely this concert was amazing. Great orchestra, a great conductor, and a great soprano. Kudos to all of them, and I wish them all the best. Well, that's all I have for this review. Be sure to tune in for my next review, or even the next upload on my channel. Until then, this is Antoni, signing off and wishing you all a good night.